done is I have removed, these tubes that go in here. It's just a seal, so you just pull this out and pull this out. Okay, so that it kind of takes a little force, but you pop those out and you set them aside. Alright, and now we have our valve covers. So you can see there's 15 bolts per valve cover. Alright, 10 mils and 8 mils. So you'll need, you're going to need a 10 mil deep deep socket, or excuse me, a 10 mil deep socket for that type right there. And there's going to be, that's a 10 mil deep socket. There's going to be 8 mil deep sockets, such as let's see, like that one or that one, which that bracket pretty much has to get off. But we're just going to stick to the right, the driver's side for now. So the first step is to disconnect the cylinder head temperature electrical connector, which is this. I've done that. Below that, you're going to have your CHT sensor, and that is, what was that socket again?
3/4.
A 3/4 socket. So you put your socket over that. It needs to be, I believe, a deep well to get over the plug, and you'll just crack it counterclockwise. So I have loosened that, and I'm going to pull it out. Okay, so when I get two hands, I'll go ahead and pull that out, and then the next step is going to be to remove the vacuum hose from the appearance cover support bracket, which it's going to be that right there, and I have zip tied everything off. I also, what I did is I plugged up all my intake manifold holes. I plugged up these holes as well, so nothing can fall in them. There's really no point in plugging your spark plug well holes, because when you lift off the valve cover gasket, you'll have access to it anyway. Alright, so also what I did is I made a diagram here. That's my passenger side, and there's 15 holes like I stated, and I've made just, you know, a little schematic to where to put the bolts in when they come out. That's the same, that's what I've done already for the manifold, and that is the driver's side, 15 holes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and also disconnect the positive crankcase ventilation, the PVC tube, which is that, I already showed you, that's what it was. It's the PVC tube, I couldn't remember. And that's actually that. Okay, so now, which actually this was the hardest step, removing the ignition coil wiring harness from the retainers. Now these retainers are, I just did all sides around because I'm going to have to do it. They're basically, I already broke two of them pretty much, but I can salvage them just using zip ties. What I'm going to do is, what you do to get it off is you take a screwdriver. These pretty much just push in. You have to take a screwdriver, wedge it under that. Sorry, you can't see. Let me get better. Basically, these are the retaining pieces, and as you can see, you zoom out, I've broken it. This pretty much just sits on those, and then as you can see, it holds the wiring harness. So there is going to be, it's going to be one there that's on that bolt, okay, and there's going to be this one, which this is a different style. This was kind of hard to get off. You just got to shimmy it off back and forth, and work your way up. Once you get it up enough, you can stick a screwdriver in there and work both sides to get it up. It's really hard to get off. And then there's going to be one more, which is, Larry, can you grab that light? this one right there. It's right next, you see the dipstick? Right next to the dipstick there's going to be, you see the wiring retainer on the harness? Yeah, you're going to have to pop that up like I stated with the screwdriver. Just work your way up just like you took off the these. Just like you pop this off right here. This is your throttle thing. We stuck in the screwdriver. Yeah, that was pretty much the hardest thing that took me the longest time. So those are off. You're gonna have to get a wrench, an 8mm wrench, because the socket will not fit in this bracket over here on the passenger side. All right, so you can get everything with the 10mm sockets and the 8mm deep well, and you're also going to need a 10mm deep well for this style. Okay, so that's what you need. And I'm going to hand this over to Larry so he can we can actually pull the bolts off. Cylinder head temperature sensor that we were talking about, so that goes pretty deep in there. You're going to have to unscrew it with your hand for a while, and then that just lifts out, and we can start taking off this this side of the head, or this side of the valve cover, and get squared away with that. You can see here we have my diagram, my schematic for where all the bolts go. Now the 8mm nuts that I was saying earlier with the deep well you need to come off, they actually sit on top of those. So pretty much that would be that bolt right there. That sits, the 8mm nuts, I have them just taped under here so they don't come loose. And I have the bracket the way it was actually sitting, so I don't forget which way the bracket goes. Okay, so but under the 8mm nuts, those are going to be 10mm as well, just like everything else. So what you do is you loosen them, and this is actually the last one. You loosen them with the 10mm, and like I said, they're only like 89 foot-pounds. So once you crack them loose, you can get them off with your hand. They're actually they have socket, plastic socket, which I believe the kit that I have will replace these. And yeah, I just pop it in. So that's the last one of that. So that's every single bolt, other than actually, yeah, the same thing with these back two. This one and then that one. It's going to be a socket. Now when I lifted it up, I looked and saw that it was also hitting this, so I'm going to go ahead and just take that nut off. That way this will probably just all lift off in one nice piece. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then after that this thing's ready to be pulled.